Hi, welcome to the Applecrafts podcast. God, I can't even get the first sentence out. That's terrible. I'm going to be talking about knitting and crochet and hopefully a little bit of cross stitch. And I'm filming from Middle Tennessee, and right now I'm going to say it's officially springtime, and so I might enter a little bit of gardening in there, where my lame attempt at gardening. And I will show you my projects and things that I've bought, though there won't be a whole lot of things that I buy. I usually buy when I have like a custom order that I need to do, because as you can see, this hot mess behind me here, it's all yarn. Oh, I should probably tell you the date. Today is February 20th. I don't know when I'll get this out. I'll try to get this out today. Maybe I'll get it out tomorrow. I'm not very tech savvy, so we'll see how that goes. But while I'm addressing the yarn back here, we're in the middle of a purge in this house, and so we're just going through everything and getting rid of stuff, because we've been in this house for, I don't know, 13 years or something like that, and things collect. So I'm organizing all my yarn, and hopefully in a couple weeks there'll be this beautiful shelving unit behind me with all my yarn, or at least the ones I want to show you. And I wrote my notes over here, because if I don't look at my notes, then I'm going to be all over the place, and I'm already all over the place. And all right, so let's get started, right? Social media, where you can find me. I am very active on Facebook, so you can find me there as Applecrafts. We have a group. It's very small, but I don't care about numbers. But it's there, so if you want to contact me or see what's going on with Applecrafts, you can go there. I'm also on Twitter, but it's a pretty new account. I think I've only, what do you call it, twitted? I don't even know. I don't use Twitter, as you can tell. But I have a few posts on there. I also have an Instagram account, and on Instagram I am Applecrafts _mid_TN. If I remember correctly, Applecrafts was taken at some point and it's not used anymore or something. I don't remember. I've had that for a while, so trying to think, where else am I? I think that's it. I don't really use anything else. No. Yeah, that's it. So this episode is going to be called Take 2, or is it Take 3? Because if you go back onto my channel, I have 2 episodes, if you even want to call them 2 episodes. One's like 15 minutes or something, and the other one's like 9. And it was my lame attempt, even lamer than this attempt, to start a podcast. And obviously that failed. But if you are interested in cinnamon rolls, I've got a recipe for cinnamon rolls in there. And I think on the second one, the shorter one, I don't know if I give out a recipe for cookies, but I do show you how to troubleshoot for cookies, for cookie baking. Because in my former life, I used to be a baker. And I've done bread baking, I've done pastry baking, I've done cake decorating. I probably won't show a whole lot of that on here, but who knows? If you guys want to see that, then, you know, I might throw in some pictures and some troubleshooting and teach you guys some stuff you may not know. Okay. Look at my notey notes. Things I'm going to talk about today. So I've got some works in progress. I don't have any finished objects, because usually what I make, I'm selling. But the works in progress I have right now are actually for me. So I am going to pull out my first project. And it's the Abalone Shawl by Carly Denning. Carl? She's a woman. So Carly. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the picture on my phone so you guys can see what it looks like. That's the original picture for the Abalone Shawl. And what I've got going on here, the pattern shows lace weight yarn. Oh my god, it's stuck. My yarn is stuck. Oh my god. And I went with Loosen Threads Wool Like. It's an acrylic nylon blend. You can see that there. I actually really like this yarn. Whenever I want to do anything that's lacy, this is a really good yarn that's not wool, because not everybody can do wool. Interestingly enough, I can't really do wool, even though I kind of work with it, but I can't have it close to my skin. Yeah, so this is their purple, dark purple, that's what it's called. And I'm almost done. So if you look at the sections, it gets gradual from these thin lines all the way to here. Now, in the pattern, it actually does get bigger with each section, but what I did, because this yarn is actually a little bit thinner than the lace weight yarn that is in the pattern, only by a little bit, I decided I was going to modify. And so right now I've got 420 something stitches on here. I'm using Chiagu US 3s. I don't know what they are in millimeters. Oh my gosh, I can't see. 3.25. So what I did to modify this just a little bit was I added a few stitches up here, just maybe 10 extra stitches or something, followed the pattern all the way down to about here, and then when I got here, I decided to add rows. Now, I don't know if you've done this shawl before, but just the fact that it's a thin yarn and all these stitches, why would I want to add more rows? Because right now, last time I timed myself to go knit row and then to purl back, it took me 35 minutes. And I'm adding rows. Go figure. I just realized I'm looking at the wrong part of the... I'm sorry, guys. Here I thought I was doing well. I seriously just woke up. I probably should have had coffee or something first. Actually, I do have coffee. I just haven't had any of it because that's what I do. So anyway, so as you're going down, I'm adding rows, and I'm on the second to last section here. So what I added was, at this point on the bottom calls for 9 rows, and so I made 20. And so if my math is correct, each one from this one down is doubled and added two more rows. So I've got one more of this black section here, and then one more of the purple section, and that one's going to be 24 rows, and then it'll be the lace border at the bottom, and that'll be it. And then I just have to block it, and we'll be good to go. I've got that sitting in my awesome, look at this, spaceship bag. I was looking on Etsy for a tote bag, and I don't know why, but like most knitting bags don't really, like project bags don't really appeal to me, and I just wanted a tote bag that, you know, was the dimensions that I wanted, but something different than, like, you know, a sheep or knit stitches. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I like to be different. But what sold me on this bag, guys, come on, aliens. I don't want to believe. I do believe, okay? And if you're watching this podcast and stuck with me this long, you probably think I am one of them, and I would not be offended if you thought I was an alien. But this bag, Zoe's Boutique, I think it was the name of the shop. I will write it down in a little down bar thing. I'd put it on the screen, but like I said, I'm not really tech savvy, and like what happens is I'll put something on a screen and then I can't figure out how to get it back off, and so it just stays on for the whole video. Nobody wants to see that. So until I figure that out, everything that I mentioned today will be down there, if I can even figure that part out. And next, what I'm working on, I'll get the picture up, Chasing Blizzards. And I love this one. This is so pretty. Let's see if I can. Oh my gosh. Blowout. Hopefully that's coming up. This pattern is by Katie Gemenius. I'm sure I butchered the crap out of your name. I really apologize. But this one, that pattern calls for a sock weight, and I substituted the yarn for Vanna's Choice Lion Brand, and it's a 100% premium acrylic. And what I like about the Vanna is it's very squishy. It's a very, very squishy yarn. Woo. And I did it in this is cranberry and linen stitches, and this is completely upside down. Well, maybe not. This is what I have so far. I am probably about 30%, 40% through it. You got the eyelets there. Oh, this is the wrong side. You have the eyelets. And then it just goes into rows and more eyelets, and it just kind of repeats itself over and over again. But I like this pattern because I think it's good for both genders, just depending on the color. And honestly, I was making this for me, and as I was knitting it, I was like, you know what, this is totally masculine, so I think it might go to my husband. We'll see what happens there. But I want to talk about this bag. Now, this bag has a story that the Chasing Blizzards shawl is in. About a month or so ago, this shop, Stitches by Laura, was having a giveaway, and she had all her scraps, just like in this photo, and you had to guess how many pounds of scraps were in there. And I didn't win, but it gave me an idea to do to have a bag made out of scraps, because I really like that look. It's kind of like a boho gypsy type of look. I'm really attracted to it, and so I reached out to her and asked her, you know, if it'd be feasible for her to make this bag. And I don't think she's ever made anything like that before, so I was cool with a prototype. And look at this, guys. How pretty is that? If you like scrap bags, I mean, really, this is like completely gorgeous. That's one side. Here's the other side. Okay. I think this bird, that's my favorite part. Like, oh my god, so pretty. And then she put these pockets in here for me. Deep. I mean, you see that? Woo! Lots of, and then not only that one, there's another pocket in here. So I've got a pocket for, you know, like wool wash or whatever, and stitch markers and, you know, all that stuff. But then, guys, I got the hookup over here. So, okay, yeah, it's not Christmas, but look at this. These are little coasters, okay? Look how adorable these are. Look at this. She did this with the scrap. So, like, if you're having your tea or your coffee while you're knitting, right? Look at that. These are beautiful. I love this stuff. Look, this is all little scraps. All these. Just all sewn together. And I don't know anything about sewing, but I know enough to know that trying to do stuff with scraps it's kind of a lot of work. Look at that. That's so pretty. Another snowman. And I've actually ordered from her before. She makes the, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're like these bowl, you put your bowls in them and you stick them in the microwave, and when you take them out, it keeps your hands from being hot. Or like if you don't use the microwave, but like you're having soup or something, you know how the bowl gets hot and you could just put it in there and it protects your hands. Whoever came up with that design, first of all, is a freaking genius. Can I just say, like, I'm singing the praises of whoever came up with that. But these things, so this is meant as a coaster to go with that. Or, you know, if you want to have it with your bag and for your coffee or tea. But I have like these little serving bowls that I got at World Market. Like these little tiny bowls. And so, like, I'll just stick the bowl on there and just, you know, because I'm weird and, you know, whatever. But you can find Stitches by Laura on Facebook and on Gypsy Spoonful. And Gypsy Spoonful is sort of like, I don't want to compare them to Etsy because they're completely different from Etsy in the fact that Etsy, while they have a lot of handmade, there's a controversy on there about people who are doing things that aren't handmade, whereas Gypsy Spoonful is completely handmade and all of their vendors are vetted. So that's something to check out, and I'll put that information on the bottom as well. And another thing that I'm working on, where did I put my phone so I can show you, is an autism awareness blanket. It's for an order, and I actually have made a blanket for this woman before, and so I wish I had taken better pictures of the blankets that I made for her before, because I wrote up this pattern and I didn't really take good pictures, and so I'm kind of just going with what I got here. But you can see all the, yeah, you know what the puzzle pieces look like. But this one's a modified version of that. It's a little bit bigger, and she wanted it on 3 different colors of greens. And so basically what the pattern does is I have a schematic for how to make the pieces. So this is like an H piece because it looks like an H. You know how we all have different names for how we label the little pieces for the puzzles. So this is the H piece. And these are all Red Heart Super Saver. So that was the spring green. This one, I think, is called Time or Old Time or something. This is the eye piece edge. And so what I do is I have the pattern broken down into how to make each piece. An H edge. And then you just match stitch it together. Which sounds easier than it actually is, because when you match stitch, I don't know if you know what match stitching is, but it's when you take 2 pieces and then you pick up in here like the first or second stitch on each side with the yarn, and then you just zip it up and it looks like there's no seam there. It's completely flush or almost flush. And yeah, but with these, it's like, because it's not a complete straight edge, you're having to go this way and this way and this way and that way, and it's a lot of work. But I'm gonna keep you guys appraised on that one, because this has to go out in a couple weeks, and so probably by next time I video, I'll have all the pieces done, and probably hopefully half of it match or stitched together. And then another thing that I'm going to work on as soon as I'm done with these shawls is a cable baby hat, which I didn't write down the information on that one. I don't know why I didn't do that. But it's a hat for babies, and it doesn't have a brim or anything, but it just starts cabling from, you know, the forehead up. And I don't even know if they're true cables. I think they're just the cables that you move with your hands on the needles, just to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just to move them so they look like cables, like faux cables or whatever. And I'm gonna make it for my husband, so I have to change the yarn and change the stitch count. and he's picky, and so he didn't like any of the yarn that he saw, and so I had to make him some yarn, or dye him some yarn. I don't sell any dyed yarn, but I like to play with it because a lot of us like to play with that kind of thing. You know, you work with it all the time, and then you decide, well, let me see what this is all about. So I'll probably enter in a picture of what the hank of yarn that I dyed looked like originally, but this is what it looks like balled up. And I know you probably shouldn't do this with your yarn, but I didn't have a ball winder until yesterday. It's over there somewhere in a box, and I'm not gonna take it out right now. But this is just some it's a light silver base, and it's got pops of like a darker silver, and then black sprinkles all over it. This is really soft. This is a fingering weight. I believe this was Knit Picks Stroll. Yeah, it was Knit Picks Stroll. So that's what this is. So hopefully I can work on that next week. I don't see why I wouldn't, because it shouldn't take too long for me to finish one of those shawls, the Abalone or the Chasing Blizzards. I've got a cat who wants to get out, so I'll be right back. Okay, back now. So while I was up, I decided to go look up that Cable Baby pattern, and it's by Pamela Allen. And the picture, oh boy, I really got to fix this lighting issue. Can you see that, sort of? Oh my god. See, here's the thing, is that I could print all these off, but I don't have color in my printer. So I don't know how well that's going to work. Although it works for Yarn Hoarder, so it might work for me too. Next time I'll do that, and we'll see how that goes. But that's the pattern I'm going to use, and it actually does use a cable needle. And I need to practice my cabling. So I'll be doing that soon. And another thing that I'm working on is a shawl design that I won't show yet because I'm only like I'm going to do it in sections, and I'm only on the second section. I'm not even done with the second section. And this yarn is really dark, so you're not going to be able to see anything anyway. But I will show you the yarn. It's from Knit Picks' Brava Sport. Let me take this. And it uses number 3 to number 5 US needles. And I actually have this, I'm fleshing this out on a US 5. And I'm actually feeling like, because I have garter stitches on here to start, and it feels kind of tight. And I'm a tight knitter anyway, so I don't know if it's me or if I feel like maybe their gauge is a little bit off on the label, and maybe it needs to be on US 7s. And but I really like this yarn. It's you can see it. It's called Umber Heather, and if you look really hard, it's like it's not a uniform brown. It's got like a little bit of flecks of light brown and like a tiny touch of gold. And what I thought was interesting, and I don't know if they meant to do this or if there's an accident in the factory, but every once in a while there's like a little pop of a Tweety bit, like right there, like little gold Tweety bits. But it's not enough to make it look like it was intentionally there. Like maybe something just went poof, and so a little bit of sprinkle of tweed got on there. I don't know how you make tweed, but that's what it looks like to me. But whenever I like come up with a design, I like to just go through my stash, and I like to try to keep it as close to the yarn as I want to use for the pattern. So while I don't think that when this gets knitted again as a test knit that I'm going to use this yarn, it's going to be a sport weight. But this is sitting around, and as you can see, I need to use up my yarn. So hopefully I'll have enough of this done that, you know, I can kind of show you what's going on with that pattern. And the last thing I have to show you actually came in today, and I almost missed her. Came in by FedEx. This vacuum packed, it's all yarn. All yarn waiting to be dyed. Can't wait. I've got some new merino, and I've got New Zealand Polworth in here, and something new. I think it's a new merino DK. No, worsted, because I haven't done worsted yet. So that'll be fun. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I'm reaching for my notes. Let's see, what else do I have to talk to you about? Life stuff. So I'm done with the knitting. So if you stuck around this long, thank you so much. I promise that I will not be this bad next time. I promise, but you know, I probably shouldn't promise because you know, you never know. These things take time, but we'll see. But I am hoping that hopefully the next time I'm here, this will be all set up, because we're talking about a design thing. My husband likes to build me shelves. I'm a very lucky girl. He's built me a lot of things. So hopefully we'll get that taken care of in the next couple weeks. But thank you for sticking around if you're here for the nitty stuff, and if you are interested in hearing about life stuff and things that I'm looking forward to making. Okay, so this weekend my husband and I are gonna take a 4-day weekend to Lookout Mountain in Georgia. We're staying at a bed and breakfast. We've been there before, so it's really nice. There's quite a few hiking trails around there, if I remember correctly. And Rock City, if you ever heard of Rock City, it's I've been there once, so I'm trying to remember, and it was a while ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. Like they have like this pathway through a bunch of like really unique looking, I think it's carved in the mountain or something like that, or mountain. I used to live in Colorado, so you know, anything on the East Coast is not really technically a mountain, in my opinion. But yeah, it's like a pathway through all that, and then they have like this section at the end of the pathway that's all fairy tale stuff, and there's little gnomes here and there and everywhere. And then at the top of this trail or pathway is a place where you can, on a clear day, be able to see 7 different states. So you could see Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky. No, you can't see Kentucky. North Carolina. All those. But that's Rock City. Also over there is Ruby Falls. Ruby Falls, guys, I don't know if you've ever been to Ruby Falls. It's beautiful. So what happens is you go over there, and it's a really long line because it's super popular, and you go underground. And I don't remember how far down it is. I think it's at least a mile, maybe more. I don't know. But it's like this system of caves under the ground. And it's so pretty, and they have like, you know, different sections in the walls of like formations that look like things like a fish or look like an elephant or whatever, and they have like a little plaque up that tells you what it's supposed to look like. So if you can kind of imagine going, oh yeah, it does look like that, you know. But the spectacular part about Ruby Falls is when you get to the end of the path, is this huge waterfall that was cut out by, like, you know, it took a couple million years or something for this water to like trickle down and cut out this pathway that opens up into this huge cavern, and it's still flowing. And they put up these lights, you know, so you can get these different color lights, and you get to look at it in the lights for I think it's a minute or something, and then you have to go back. Now, it's not cheap to go in there to even look at this thing. And I understand, you know, cost, and I'm not complaining about the cost, because here's the thing that bothers me about Ruby Falls is that I feel like the whole time you're herded like cattle in these big groups, and you're being rushed through, so you don't really get to see everything. And if you're like me, you like to look and study and see, and and actually it's kind of like going through an art museum. I don't just go and look at each painting for like a second and move on. I want to actually study it, and same thing with caves and stuff. And so I feel like I was being rushed through, and I legit would pay extra for a private tour to go through and see the whole thing, just so I'm not feeling like I'm being herded like cattle through the process. But that being said, it's definitely worth going to see at least once in your life. But that's the area that we're going to, and we're going to be there for 4 days. I'll try to remember to take some pictures while I'm there. I'm usually pretty good about that, so we'll see. I think that's all I have for you today. So again, thank you for sticking around. If I forgot any pertinent information that I'm supposed to talk about, let me know. I think I covered everything. Yeah, I think I did. So I'll see you next time. I don't know how often I will video. I'm thinking at least once every couple of weeks. Definitely no longer than once a month. But I push through projects pretty fast just because this is what I do. I'm lucky enough to be able to say that I'm doing what I love. And so, I'm home and I knit and crochet and, network on the computer, and I love it. So I push through stuff pretty fast. So I will try to, if I don't have a finished object to show you on the podcast, I will try to get pictures of everything that I do make before I send them out, so that you can at least see those, so you're not just seeing whips all the time. But thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.